Hello, welcome to the Worcester Art Museum. We're here together today for Art Together. My name is Liz, and I work here at the Worcester Art Museum in Education. Today, we're going to be working on sculptures and collages while looking at two pieces of art by the same artist and reading The Most Magnificent Thing by Ashley Spires. Well, let's go into the courtyard here, the Renaissance Court, and I'll read you our book of the day. All right. Today's book is titled The Most Magnificent Thing, and it's written by Ashley Spires. The Most Magnificent Thing. Written and illustrated by Ashley Spires, Kids Can Press. This is a regular girl and her best friend in the whole wide world. They do all kinds of things together. They race, they eat, they explore, they relax. She makes things. He unmakes things. One day, the girl has a wonderful idea. She is going to make the most magnificent thing. She knows just how it will look. She knows just how it will work. All she has to do is make it, and she makes things all the time, easy peasy. First, she hires an assistant. Next, they gather their supplies. They set up somewhere out of the way and get to work. They don't really look that out of the way. The girl tinkers and hammers and measures, while her assistant pounces and growls and chews. When she is finished, she steps back to admire her work. She walks around one side. Her assistant examines the other side. It doesn't look right. Her assistant picks it up and gives it a shake. It doesn't feel right either. They are shocked to discover that the thing isn't magnificent or good. It isn't even kind of sort of okay. It is all wrong. The girl tosses it aside and gives it another go. She smooths and wrenches and fiddles. Her assistant circles and tugs and wags. When she is finished, she stands up and takes a long look at it. Her assistant gives it a nudge with his paw. The thing is still wrong. She decides to try again. The girl saws and glues and adjusts. She stands and examines and stares. She twists and tweaks and fastens. She fixes and straightens and studies. She tries all different ways to make it better. She makes it square. She makes it round. She gives it legs. She adds antennae. She makes it fuzzy. She makes it long, short, rough, smooth, big, small. One even smells of stinky cheese. But none of them are magnificent. Her hard work attracts a few admirers, but they don't understand. They can't see the magnificent thing she has in her mind. She gets mad. The angrier she gets, the faster she works. She smashes pieces into shapes. She jams parts together. She pummels the little bits in. Her hands feel too big to work, and her brain is too full of all the not right things. If only the thing would just work. Crunch! Ouch! The pain starts in her finger. It rushes up to her brain, and she explodes. It is not her finest moment. I'm no good at this. I quit. Her assistant suggests a walk. It's not much help at first, but before long, she starts to feel different. Bit by bit, the mad gets pushed out of her head. As they stroll along, she comes across the first wrong thing she made. The bad feelings are about to start all over again. Then she notices something surprising. There are some parts of the wrong things that are rarely quite right. The bolts on one, the shape of another, the wheel-to-seat ratio of the next. There are all sorts of parts that she likes. By the time she reaches the end of the trail, she finally knows how to make the thing magnificent. She gets to work. She works carefully and slowly, tinkering, hammering, twisting, fiddling, gluing, painting. Her assistant makes sure there are no distractions. This is the perfect thing to ward off bears. This will stop that leak. This one's all wet. The afternoon fades into evening. Finally, she finishes. She alerts her assistant. The pair take a good long look. It leans a little to the left, and it's a bit heavier than expected. The color could use a bit of work too, but it's just what she wanted. They climb aboard and take it for a spin. They are not disappointed. It really is the most magnificent thing. So in this book, the girl and her assistant, which is a dog, make something out of found objects. And they create something that in the end looks like a sidecar for her scooter so that she can take her dog along on all of her scootering adventures. So she used her creative mind to put things together that might not have otherwise gone together. We do this in artwork too. We're going to look at two different types of artwork today. And then we're going to do some of our own that make us think creatively. Let's go into the galleries to see some art. Welcome to the museum galleries. The first piece of art we're going to look at is a sculpture. I'll put it right here. This is a sculpture by Louise Nevelson. It's called Black Garden Wall No. 3, and she built it in 1971. Now this is a sculpture, which means that you can see it from multiple sides. If it were a painting, it would be flat, but as a sculpture, it sticks out. I can look at it from the side, the front, the other side. This one is against a wall, so although I could look at it from the back if it weren't against a wall, we can't see the back from here. What she's done here is create an assemblage, which means something that has been put together or assembled. So she took a lot of different wooden pieces, assembled them together using glues and adhesives, and then for her piece, what she did was paint it all one color, in this case, black. What that did is it unified all of the pieces, or brought them all together so that they seemed like they belonged together, and made it a wonderful piece to look at for texture. We can see all of these different types of textures. There are some large, sort of flat blockish areas that look almost like tic-tac-toe grids. Then there are some pieces up at the top over here that have a lot of little its and bits and bobs. So they would feel super bumpy, whereas there are other smooth places as well. So she had to use her creative mind to try to fit all of these pieces that came from different places together into a piece of art. And then she picked one color to paint them. Now, we'll be doing a project very similar to this, where we do an assemblage out of found objects, or art objects if you have them. You'll be able to pick whether or not you want to paint it at all, or if you do want to paint it, if you want to stick with one color or add more. Now, let's go and look at the second piece of art. This piece here is also by Louise Nevelson. She made this screen print in 1967, a few years before her assemblage work that we just looked at. Now, it is titled Composition. That title in artwork means how different things are put together in a way that we can look at. So in art, composition is the way that you use shapes and colors. It's the way that you put things in front or behind. Similar to in music, where you would use different notes and how far apart they are in time. So here we're looking more at shapes and colors and textures and where they are next to each other. So this piece is titled Composition. We can see here that she already has some ideas that will carry through to her assemblage work, with the large sort of flatter sections that almost look like shelves at the bottom, and then some more textured layers at the top. This piece also is a screen print, so it's not a collage, which we'll be doing, but it's very much like a collage in where she's layered a bunch of sort of images on top of each other. A screen print is a type of printmaking where you take a screen, finer than you would use in a window, but along the same idea where you have a bunch of lines going this way and a bunch of lines going this way, and you prepare it so that you have an image in it, and then you put that against a piece of paper or your printing plate, and you squish the ink right through it, and so you get a print that's reproducible. So she could make more than one of these. When she did this print, she chose to use just black ink on white paper. So that's the other thing that connects this to the assemblage work that we had that was painted black. Now, if she had made this a multicolored print, like a rainbow, or even something that was bright green and bright pink, it would seem very different, feel very different to our eyes than the black garden wall assemblage sculpture that we looked at. All right, so now that we've been inspired by the most magnificent thing and these two wonderful pieces by Louise Nevelson, let's pop on over into the studio. Welcome to the museum studios. We hope that we'll be able to see you here fairly soon, but until then, let's still have fun together. So today we looked at the two pieces by Louise Nevelson. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be using assemblage ourselves as an option of an art project today, as well as collage. So I'll start off with the collage project. We'll be using paper scraps from any types of paper. They could be newspaper, magazine, they could be leftover art papers, copy papers, anything that you have around. And then you just need one bigger piece of paper to be your background, and some glue. If you want to use scissors, you can. We'll be playing with these papers and figuring out how we want to put them together. So come on, we'll switch over to my hands and you can watch the process. I hope you enjoyed watching me work on my collage piece. It's quite fun, and because you only need a few things from around the house, it's usually an art project that you can pull together fairly easily. Even if you don't glue it down together, then you can keep playing with how those pieces are arranged in the composition. Now, let's switch over to my hands working again, and we'll look at assemblage, or how we're going to put things together. Now you'll see that I am going to be using a hot glue gun for mine because I want it to dry in a period where I can take this video. But you don't have to use a hot glue gun. You can use whatever glue or tape you have around the house. projects were certainly very fun to work on, and I hope that you have fun with whichever project you worked on today. Now, just to review, we read The Most Magnificent Thing by Ashley Spires. We looked at 2 pieces of art from Louise Nevelson, and we made our own fun artworks. I hope that you had fun, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.